Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc. I hope everybody's having a fabulous day. For some of us, it's the middle of the day. Some of you are just getting started, and some of you are coming to the end of the day. And I love the fact that we are able to gather here as a whole, as a community. I mean, we're talking the Earth community. So excited to have names popping up. And if you are on the live stream, whether you're looking on Facebook or YouTube or Rumble, come join us live. dailywithdoc.zoom.com every Monday through Friday from noon to about 12:50 Pacific time. And again, that's in the middle of the day. So that is 12 noon to 12:50 Pacific time. Come and join us. And if you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to go over and follow us on Rumble. So I love the fact that we have the different places that we can express ourselves with and without censorship. But we invite you to follow Critical Health News on Rumble also on Facebook. And if you're on Facebook or Rumble, we're on YouTube also, Critical Health News. So my name is Becca Dukes, and I am so excited to be the hostess of this program where each and every day we bring you a dose of Daily with Doc. Daily with Doc is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. This website offers so much information that is empowering, giving you a full toolbox of information that allows you to be able to take your health and wellness into your own hands, where we are wellness management, not sickness management. And that's where the content of this program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician. We and the products are not meant to diagnose, cure, or treat any diseases. But folks, through the science of epigenetics, we have learned that what we put in our mouth, what we have in our environment, actually does change the way that our genes are expressed. And we have one of the founding fathers of that science of epigenetics here to guide us on this journey, Dr. Joel Wallach. Dr. Wallach, how are you today?
Fabulous, thank you. I take my 90 essential nutrients twice a day. I take my rebound twice a day. And so I'm doing fine. 83 years old, going on 84. And most people think I'm in my 50s. Only had prescription drugs 3 days out of my entire life. And so I'm doing good. There you go.
And this book right here, folks, Epigenetics. This tells you all about the science and all of the work that Dr. Wallach has done in the support and founding of this science. Is that better?
Yes.
All right. So, Dr. Wallach, we have a special guest on with us today. You always are a special guest because, through all of your education with a bachelor's of science in agriculture, a degree in veterinarian medicine, and a practicing veterinarian of all sizes, vertebrates, amphibians. I mean, you haven't limited yourself. And with that, 3 postdoctorates in pathology. Share with us just 2 minutes on what that means.
Well, a postdoctoral fellowship is a kind of like a PhD study on a particular subject. And I was working with the Yerkes Primate Center on my first one, okay, up in, let's see here, these were space monkeys, and I found the first non-human case of cystic fibrosis in them. And when I proved it was not genetic, it was a simple nutritional deficiency disease early in pregnancy, they fired me because they all believed it was genetic. And that's when I went back to school and became a physician. And prior to that, I also had a 10-year postdoctoral fellowship with NIH and Washington University in St. Louis, did 20,000 autopsies there. And that was a great, great study. Found the cause and prevention and cure of many, many diseases, including, again, birth defects, arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure, Alzheimer's disease, all those kind of things. And then we went to China, and Kishan University did 1,700 autopsies on kids under the age of 10 who were dying from sudden heart attacks, just like our athletes are doing now. And they were dying from the same thing, the kids who were being diagnosed with sudden death syndrome. And the doctors for years and years and years and years blamed mothers for laying on them and suffocating them. And they're really just dying of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease, which is a deficiency of a single nutrient. And everybody wants to know, which one is it? Which one is it? Well, I used to tell them, and they'd take that one nutrient, and then they would die because they were not taking the other 89. And so I tell you now about the 89. And if you want to know which one it is, you got to read the book. That way, I'm not contaminating other people with pieces of information instead of the whole picture. And then, of course, went back to school and became a naturopathic physician, and have been treating humans, since 1982 as a physician.
Well, one of the people whose life you have impacted, or another person, I should say, is on with us. And I'm so excited to welcome my friend. I'm actually going to do a screenshot. So folks, if you think that you can't have a business and you live on the top of a mountain with very limited people around you, this woman right here, Jennifer Salsman, has proven that you can be a successful business owner and coach with, well, we don't have her camera on today, okay? We have her voice. I am going to do a screen share, but this beautiful person here, someone that I am proud to call friend, Jennifer Salsman, welcome to Daily with Doc, my friend.
Hello.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me. What an honor. Hi, Doc.
Hey, Jennifer.
So Dr. Wallach, you have a few questions, as you're going to be doing the one interviewing Jennifer for the first 20 minutes of this program today.
Okay. Well, first of all, welcome. And let's see here. You live up in the mountains, right?
Yes, I live in a very small town, 20 miles from the nearest, grocery store, etc. Way out in the boondocks, up by the Canadian border. Mm-hmm. It's snowing right now. And yeah, we're off grid. And I have been so incredibly blessed to be able to be here, because I've been able to actively share your message with thousands and thousands of people, because we have this thing called the internet and the phone and all this stuff. And so, yeah.
That's great. Now, I do have to ask you a question, because you introduced the need for a question and answer here.
Okay.
Share with us, what did you do before you discovered longevity?
So before I discovered longevity, which is going on 11 years ago now, I was a certified Pilates instructor. So I was a Pilates coach, if you know what that is. It's yes. A form. Yeah. So I was one of the early people to get involved in Pilates in Seattle when it was first before it was really popular. And I had a pretty full-time, training practice, teaching at a very high-end health club in Seattle, in the Seattle area. And I was, working with individual mm-hmm. clients and groups of clients and things like that. But I was in really poor health.
Okay, myself. So that begs the next question. Okay. What brought you to longevity? Was it your personal health that brought you to longevity, or an expansion of your practice?
So it actually originally was my personal health. I, at the time, was working with a local naturopathic doctor, and I had seen numerous naturopathic doctors. I counted one time, and I think I'd seen up to maybe 17 different healthcare practitioners over the numbers of years to try to figure out what was going on. And I got some help from different ones, but nothing that really turned a corner. And actually, it was my husband who stumbled upon an interview, I think with Dr. Glidden or possibly with you, I can't remember which, on maybe on Alex Jones or on, some podcast, some, TV program thing, internet TV. And he was very excited because there was, an explanation about this delivery system and how the products were so bioavailable. And he just basically told me that day when I get home, honey, I want you to order this. And he said that because my husband and I are both very, very spiritually minded. And so we have a strong relationship with God and pray a lot. And he said that the Holy Spirit told him that this was going to help us a lot, and particularly me.
Okay, very, very good. And so again, that begs the next question. What has kept you associated with Youngevity after all these years?
Well, I think that my association was basically the reason that I've stayed associated, I think is the story of how it's unfolded. Because when he told me to order the stuff, I'm kind of a due diligence person. So I didn't just go, and he wanted me to just call Alex Jones on the radio or something like this. And so I didn't end up doing it. I put it on my, to-do list, and I didn't do it that day. But a couple of days later, I was going to see a different practitioner who started talking to me about how they started to work out with how to start to take these longevity products. And it was a very serendipitous thing that happened, because that was a local person. And she told me, hey, call this local couple. They'll help you get started. Well, I called that local couple, and kind of prophetically, when the gal answered the phone and she told me what to take and what to do, I said to her when we got off the phone, so nice to meet you. And together you and I are gonna, and I said these words, and it kind of came out of my mouth. I didn't even know from where or whatever, but I said, together you and I are gonna build an empire. And it was kind of shocking. And it turns out that like within the 2 weeks after that, we had an opportunity to go see first Dr. Glidden in person, and then you in person in the Seattle area. And it just basically became so, and because after 4 days of getting on the supplements, I woke up for the first time in a really long time with some clarity and some energy. I knew that we were onto something. And because both, and my husband as well, within both of us for the first 5 days, we're going, do you feel anything? Do you feel anything? But on the fifth day, both of us had kind of a notable sense that we were getting some results. And so it was really obvious that something was happening. And within the first couple of weeks, I told my family about it. They got started on the products. I began to share with all of my with all of my Pilates clients, that they could do this, that, and the rest. And it just became extremely organic. And then this other gal who was working, who had helped us get started, became very involved with you and started touring with you and working with you closely. And we started doing local meetings, and we invited you here, and we invited Dr. Glidden here, and it just kind of organically exploded. And that's what's kept me associated, is the fact that I got such good results so fast, and I saw so many other people get such good results so fast. And I had tried a lot of things. So that's what's kept me associated. I think the results that I now continue to get with clients, I would say results are the number one reason.
Yeah, and this is what we hear from many, many professionals like yourself, because, you're going to be skeptical, and, people say things, and you have to always take things with that, quote, grain of salt, unquote. And it's one of those things where it's only after you see case after case after case in people of different genders, different ages, different races, all getting the same result, then you know that there's something going on here in a positive way. And
Yep.
so, do you have kind of like an office and a practice there?
Yeah, I do. So we have been so blessed. You are always so generous with your time, and we did some interviews with you, And my partner and friend that, introduced me is very good, like Becca is, with technology and all that kind of stuff and podcasting and all that. So we have just done everything that we can to try to get your message out over the internet and, in people's ears. And so, I do have a lot of clients locally as well that I've shared with by word of mouth, but we've used social media and podcasting and, just whatever means we can, just like you guys, to get the message out. And so we have a lot of clients that are continuing to call and sign up for free appointments and intakes. And, I've been through the Institute of Holistic Health certification now. And so,
You're a health coach.
Yep, I'm a certified health coach.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, now
And
I do have a new tool for you. This has just been out for a couple of weeks. It's the Wallach Revolution.
Okay.
And it's a 75-year track record of the various diseases that I found causes, prevention, and cures for. Okay, 75 years. It's endorsed by Pat Boone, Danny Glover, also by Andy Young, also by Theo Ratliff, also by Evander Holyfield, and many, many, many others. It'll blow your mind, the people who have contributed to this book, okay? Because they were personally healed, their families were healed, their associates were healed, and they are taking this message to the world, and it's all been put into this one book. This book is really a tool that was put together by very, very, what should I say, talented, committed people, okay? The Wallach Revolution, 75-year track record of these various diseases that we help get rid of. And so we're very, very proud of that. And so I do urge you to get these, get them into the hands of your sort of captains, if you will, in your group, okay? And of course, another one of my favorite things is the book. It's on your head. There's 37 different diseases you can get from osteoporosis of the skull, right? You're familiar with osteoporosis of the skull, right?
I'm very familiar with it, and I've had really good results using your protocols, specifically for people who have vertigo or ringing in the ears, what's it called, when the heart flutters.
Atrial fibrillation, AFib.
Yep. So
You ever have them get up like 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 times a night to urinate? That's one of my favorites.
Right. Yeah, I love that protocol, and I use it a lot because a lot of people have a lot of degeneration, I find, in their spine, and it seems to be causing all kinds of problems. So I use that protocol regularly.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We just cannot tell you how proud we are of you and your team, all the great things that you're doing, because, we have people just now in just about every state. We have a couple of captains in every state in 80 countries, and we have 60 major warehouses around the world. So we're very, very proud of the system. And of course, we have teams that put this together. And so, you're, one of the great members of our team. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to turn this back over to Rebecca to guide us through the rest of this.
Well, thanks, Doc. It's been an honor to talk with you this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for coming on and sharing a little bit with us, your experience, where you were, how you use longevity in what you were already doing to make an even greater impact. And the fact that you're doing it, and so she and I used to be neighbors. If you can say neighbors are 60 miles as a crow flies, but 90 as you drive. They're up in the Pacific Northwest, where she has a lot of fresh snow, and I'm thankful I'm not with you, Jen. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Thank you again so much, Jennifer, for coming
You're
on,
welcome.
folks. Jennifer Salsman, certified holistic health coach, and somebody who is making an impact in her communities and around the world using what this man right here, Dr. Joel Wallach, has been so diligent in his research and his life. I mean, we're not talking about, 1 or 2 years of his life. We're talking about 75 years of his life, everybody. And you can find information about that in the new book, which is the now authorized biography of a medical genius called The Wallach Revolution. So we invite you to go to drjwallach.com, and there you will find all of Dr. Wallach's publications and CDs and soon to be digital downloads. We do have a couple ebooks on the website at this time, but there's a lot more coming, folks. Well, Dr. Wallach, in this Daily with Doc, we like to take questions from people, whether they're here on with us physically, or if they are writing in, or they're on one of the social media platforms and they're making comments. We want to make sure that we get to as many as possible, but it's not all about quantity, folks. We want to make sure that we are providing quality information that actually helps you figure things out. So Dr. Wallach, let's go to the first hand that is up. And again, reminder that if you were invited by somebody, especially our newsletter, go to whatever the source is that invited you. And as you're hearing something today and you want to get more information about it, then get back with that source. If it's our website, because you have never, ever spoken to anybody about longevity, we have all of our replays there. We have a store there. We have a contact us if you would like to have a free 15-minute consultation, like Jennifer had mentioned. We offer that as well here on Daily with Doc. So Phyllis, one of our lovely co-hosts, hostesses.
Thank you, Becca.
You have a question for us today.
Yes, I will be reading the question from somebody in the chat. I do want to say, so inspiring to hear Jennifer's story. It never gets old hearing how people come across this program and the wonderful results that they have. Nancy has a question. She is 5'1", used to be 5'2", 77 years old, and I believe she's 150 pounds. And she has been taking high doses of essential fatty acids. Oh, yes, she puts it right here. Finds it hard to lose weight. She's type 2 diabetic, chronic constipation, diabetic retinopathy in both eyes, cataracts, wet macular degeneration in the left eye, 30% blockage, carotid artery, venous problems, and is healing from some boils on her neck.
Okay. And this is a pretty, what should I say, common spread of things you see in people in their middle ages to early senior years. And I would bet you that her problem starts with what she's eating. Okay, because people of that age, they're eating buckwheat pancakes, they're eating waffles made from whole wheat bread. Okay, they have whole wheat noodles, cream of wheat, Cheerios. Okay, and they're getting all this gluten, and then they might even be doing, like I say, buckwheat pancakes, and they're getting phagopyrines, F-A-G-O-pyrines, which don't have gluten in them, but they're worse than gluten. Okay, and they damage the villi in the intestines. So instead of looking like a shag rug, those villi go away, and now their intestines look like, a plastic tube. They lose 90% of their absorptive surface. So even if you're supplementing, you're not going to get the best results because you can't absorb anything with those villi gone. Okay, so we do have a book. It's called Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. It's 300 pages of recipes and safe cooking practices, 300 pages of recipes and healthy cooking practices. Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. It flies out the door. People need that information. That way you can absorb the nutrients. And then at her body weight, 150 pounds, I want her to have 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month. Each healthy brain and heart pack has 215 nutrients in them. The core is still the 90 essential nutrients. Okay, it's still a healthy start pack. And then I want her to have a full dose of everything twice a day. That's 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. She needs 2 bottles a month of the MSM. She could take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. And they're going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone makes bone itself. And did you say she had diabetes?
Yes, she does also the retinopathy in her eyes.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting there, but I want to know about the diabetes. So I do want her to get 2 bottles a month of our sweeties, so you could take 3 of those twice a day. But don't, if she's on medication for her diabetes, don't cold turkey off of it. But as the blood sugar begins to drop, she can slowly reduce the medication based on the numbers. Okay. Then I also want her to have the collagen peptides, and she does have a aneurysm, you said?
I don't think that was mentioned. She had 30% blockage in her carotid artery.
Okay. All right. So I want her to have the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. I want to get 2 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. She can take 3 twice a day. And they're going to support healthy blood flow through blocked arteries in the brain, the heart, the kidneys, every organ in the body, including the intestines and so forth, and skin and so on. And also, let's see here. It also reduces blood pressure. So if she's on blood pressure medication, she can't cold turkey off of that. But as the blood pressure begins to drop, she can slowly reduce the medication for blood pressure based on the numbers. Usually takes a couple of weeks. I take people that haven't urinated in 10 years. They're on dialysis 6 days a week. We put them on our program I just mentioned. And within 2 weeks, they're urinating. So they reduce the dialysis from 6 days a week to 3 days a week. And then 2 more weeks are totally off of dialysis. After, say, 10 years of not urinating, they're on dialysis for 25 years. Okay. And so we do this all the time. This is a very simple thing. These are all caused by inflammation, what you eat, what you don't eat, caused by nutritional deficiencies, what you eat, what you don't eat. And this is where this comes in, because it tells the story of all these diseases we just talked about. We're talking hundreds of different diseases we've gotten rid of, okay, based on diet and supplement programs. Nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like gold and silver. Okay, so when did all this happen? This happened at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street, New York City, in the bluff overlooking the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge, when Thomas Edison pulled the switch in the first commercial electric generating plant. Okay, and within 18 years, from 1882 to 1900, 18 years, suddenly now, people who'd been using wood and coal for fuel for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and were putting the wood ashes and coal ashes in their gardens for fertilizer, getting their minerals that way. They were putting wood ashes and coal ashes into their food as a spice, and are getting minerals directly that way. But when you have electricity, how many wood ashes are left over in your house every day? None. And so that created this pandemic of mineral deficiencies, okay? And that story is in here, Hell's Kitchen, named after that district in New York City where everything goes wrong, okay? And this was created by a man-made thing, electricity, no more wood ashes, no more coal ashes. And doctors didn't get it. They said, oh, just eat well, you get everything you need. Well, that's why this is flying off the shelf, because people understand that you have to consciously, proactively take what you need. Can you make your car run forever by just putting dirt from Texas in it, because there's probably some oil in that dirt from Texas? Probably not. And you put good oil in your car, you put good gasoline in your car, you put good oil in your, let's see here, you're in the, what do you call it?
With transmission.
Yeah, let's see, the transmission and brake fluid and all that kind of stuff. You put stuff in there. You don't just put dirt from Texas in there, because there's bound to be some oil in it. And that's what doctors are telling you. Just eat well, you're going to get everything you need. That falls into the science of crapola. Okay. Never go back to that doctor. Okay. So at any rate, this is available. Let me tell you, buy 10 of these, you get a nice discount off the retail price. And so what can I say? We're ready for the next step. And we just love having, people like Jennifer to join us because they're motivated. They have people who know and love her because they know that she is there to help them. And this is information that this is about as new as you can get. But we've been working on this for 75 years. And again, there's pieces in the book that were written by Pat Boone and Danny Glover. And they wrote about themselves and their health problems we've eliminated, but also other famous people that they associate with who we've gotten rid of problems with these nutrients. And it's all these stories are in this book. So it's not me just yammering. Okay, you got all these very famous people who are doing a great job. They were so motivated. I just was flabbergasted. I said, "Do you guys want to contribute anything?" They're just so motivated. I said, "Well, what do you mean? We have so many great stories. They need to go in that book." And so I cannot thank these people enough because they are giving credibility to the information in here. So back to you, Becca.
All right. Well, Dr. Wallach, for those that don't know and have heard of Dead Doctors Don't Lie, Phyllis is part of the original team that had supported Dead Doctors Don't Lie for many, 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 many years.
Yeah. And
So I'm so excited
the
to,
CDs are 9 languages.
yeah, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, the book with CDs in 9 different languages. And folks, Phyllis and her husband, Andy Anderson, have been so instrumental in getting Dr. Wallach on the radio. And now she's joining us and getting him even farther out off of the airways and into the intranet
Ooh.
and the web and all these other big places. And I just want to thank her so much for all she has done, Dr. Wallach, in your crusade to get people in a wellness management phase, not just, response to covering up the symptoms.
Yeah, that's the symptom. Yeah, the symptom's just a red warning light in the dashboard.
That's right. So we're going for great results. So thank you, Phyllis.
Becca, thanks so much. And Andy deserves a lot of the credit. And I learned a new word today, intranet. Who knew?
Yeah, there's a lot of new words that I've learned recently. It's crazy. All right. Again, thank you, Phyllis. So Dr. Wallach, on YouTube, we have people that are making comments. And one that I didn't get to yesterday has to do with hepatitis. So, and it's hepatitis C. Is it possible to reverse hepatitis C?
Well, sure. Well, hepatitis is a viral disease. Now, there's many different types of hepatitis, but it's a viral disease. And of course, we have our colloidal silver, which I like to utilize. I take it in the morning with breakfast and lunch and dinner time and bedtime. And it kills bacteria, viruses, fungus, and yeast. It was used as an antibiotic around the world for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It only went away at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in 1936 when they started with penicillin. And doctors loved penicillin because they got paid, for a visit. They got paid for writing a prescription, all that kind of stuff. And so in doctors' offices, colloidal silver has kind of disappeared. But in our book, the Wallach Revolution, in the book Epigenetics, in the book Black Gene Lies, in the book Hell's Kitchen, the colloidal silver is still there because it's still a great, great, great way to deal with. I take it for prevention. I don't just take it when I get a cold or something like that. I take it every day. And, and some days I'm hugging and shaking hands and they kiss me on the cheek and on the head and all that kind of stuff from people from all over the place. I don't know what they may have or not. And so I'm taking my colloidal silver and I've been able to stay healthy from bugs as well. Now, your liver requires all 90 essential nutrients. Your liver does at least 50 different things that we know that it does. Okay. It is an extremely important organ in the body. And so you have to give it the 90 essential nutrients. And that's why I like to go to the next step. I like the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, which has 215 nutrients. And the core is still the 90. But the liver, that's why we added the 5 cofactors into our selenium, because the liver requires a lot of selenium but it also requires a lot of these other cofactors. So we just put them in with the selenium. So when people take selenium for their liver, they're getting the 5 other cofactors, makes a huge difference. Some of those cofactors also prevent aneurysms because they're involved in helping to build and defend the health of the elastic fibers in your arteries and veins and that kind of stuff. And so people say, well, how do I learn all this? Well, that's what the book Epigenetics is for. That's what the book Black Gene Lies is for. You can be a white guy and get uniform information from that book, Black Gene Lies, okay? And it'll help you too, because it's universal. It's universal. And so one thing that I learned as a veterinarian, when you have a horse with white skin and black skin, Palomino, Pinto, you take the skin off, they're all the same underneath. Same way with humans, okay? So the same thing that causes arthritis in a black guy causes arthritis in a white guy. Same thing causes arthritis in a Japanese guy, okay? And so it's one of those things where the truth is the truth is the truth. The facts are the facts are the facts. The results are the results are the results. We've been doing this for 75 years in a very organized fashion. And that's why this book is so important for every family to have, okay? The Wallach Revolution, because it's 75 years, okay, of things that we have been able to discover, to put together, to eliminate diseases. It's just, what should I say, it makes you breathless when you think about it. So we cannot thank everybody who's helping. And of course, Rebecca she's a 5-star general in the deal here. She makes everything work. Appreciate that. And of course, I could go on with a list. One of these days, I'm just going to read a list of the people who contributed to this. It's going to take a whole hour to read the list, okay? And so it's not going to be today, but we'll talk about that and see how we can do that. Maybe we'll do 10 a day or something like that, or 25 a day or something, because it would, it's so many people involved in this.
Well, there are a lot of people involved, Dr. Wallach, and there's room for more. Folks, if you're watching and you have an interest in health and wellness, and also an interest in making money, doing something that has purpose, that adds value to your communities, then we encourage you to join us in this crusade. Get back with the person that invited you to this program. If nobody is to thank, go to coachwithbecca.com. You'll find more information about our health coaching course, or you can also call our team that is standing by and available at 855-949-3377. That's 855-949-3377. So Dr. Wallach, in this pursuit to give the liver what it needs, we have the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack. Okay.
Yep.
What else?
Okay. I like the gallbladder in a bottle to support the gallbladder's function. Okay. Which is a very important function, because you cannot absorb fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, and the essential fatty acids without the gallbladder. Okay, because bile is required to absorb those particular nutrients. And so when the doctors say, oh, we're just going to take your gallbladder out because you have a little stomach pain, that's very, very bad. So we came up with a gallbladder in a bottle. It's called the Ultimate Enzymes. I take 2 of those twice a day. And most people should be taking 2 or 3 before each meal, because they're probably doing some bad stuff. And that's going to help you get the stuff into the liver that it requires to function and do all these things. And again, a glass of wine with dinner, it doesn't hurt your liver. Wine doesn't cause liver cancer. What causes liver cancer is peanuts. When I came back from Africa, working on the White Rhino Conservation Project, Marlon Perkins, who got that grant using my first paper on a mass die-off from pollution, okay, the whole thing was due to what should I say, due to nitrates in the drinking water. Okay, so that's why you got to get rid of all that processed meat, like ham and bacon and bologna and salami and hot dogs and all that kind of stuff. At any rate, when people would go on Friday nights on payday, they meet their buddies in the bar, and they'd all have beer for 3 or 4 hours, and the bartenders would get the big crowds because they would give them free peanuts to eat with their beer. And then many of them would get liver cancer. He said, oh, you were drinking all that beer, all that alcohol all these years. No, that wasn't it. When I came back from Africa, Perkins gave me this list. And the first thing on the list was in every zoo in the world. Now that's a big, big statement. He gave me this list. He said, this is my first thing I want you to figure out, Wallach. Okay. In every zoo in the world, bears of every species are dying of liver cancer. They're dying in their teens and 20s of liver cancer when they should have been living to be 50, 60 years of age. And so I knew it had to be something consistent and uniform because all the bears, all the species, and all the zoos are dying of liver cancer. So it had to be something common between them all. And I'm sitting there thinking about it. And, you know, I worked in the zoos for many years with Marlon Perkins, the old Mutual Omaha Kingdom show. And, oh, well, peanuts are a common thing with bears because they sell peanuts at the front gate to the guests or the visitors to the zoo. And they rattle the bag when they go to the bear moats. And the bears hear that and they stand their hind legs, wave their paws, front paws. So they'll throw peanuts at them, they'll eat the peanuts. Well, it turns out that peanuts are the only nuts that grow in the ground. All the other nuts grow on trees. What makes it dangerous to grow in the ground is they're contaminated with a fungus called Aspergillus flavus, which produces a toxin called aflatoxin, which causes liver cancer. And it was the peanuts, the free peanuts they were getting and eating the peanuts with their beer was causing the liver cancer, not the alcohol in the beer.
So how does that relate to hepatitis C, which is a viral infection that affects the liver?
Well, if you're eating peanuts and you're getting something that's toxic to the liver, holy moly, you're more likely to get an infection or something that you get cirrhosis of the liver and all this kind of stuff. If you keep eating the peanuts, somewhere along the line, a high percentage of people eating peanuts are going to get liver cancer.
So what about the people that are allergic to peanuts? And folks, peanuts are not a true nut. They're a legume. So they're not a true nut. But for those that are allergic to them and don't eat them at all and still come up with something like hepatitis C.
Okay, well, they were contaminated by somebody who transmitted the virus to them. You know, the virus, hepatitis C, doesn't just occur in the air. It requires close contact with somebody, something you're eating that they made with their hands. You're sleeping with them, kissing them. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff going on, and they're transmitting that hepatitis C virus to you. The virus doesn't just come because you're reading a book. Okay.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for that clarification, Dr.
Close
Wallach.
contact.
Now Marilyn has her hand up, and Marilyn, I saw that we have a question here in the chat with us.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi there. I just have a quick little story, and it's addressed to Dr. Wallach as well. About 5 years ago, I was working for a casino locally here, and I was a lead in the marketplace, which is a food court. So I was transferred to many different venues, and they ended up putting me a lot of time in the coffee shop. And it was only then that I noticed that my teeth started to get crooked on my lower teeth, the two bottom teeth. I had braces when I was 18, and I had no problem. My teeth were straight up until about 5 years ago. And I worked for them for about 3 years. And it was only then that my teeth started getting crooked. So now I know, Dr. Wallach, you had talked about that coffee and sugar can both rob your body of minerals. Is that true?
Well, it contributes to osteoporosis. That's correct. Contributes to osteoporosis. And so again, the good food, bad food list. You need to read that book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. And that's why we own coffee plantations. Youngevity owns coffee plantations. We have our Bloomin' Minerals. And so our coffees have all these minerals that are in the Bloomin' Minerals fertilizer, you know. But more importantly, when you're talking about coffee, I love coffee, but I drink our decaf coffee. We also have a decaf coffee. I drink that one. Okay. I'm not big on caffeine. Okay. So when you look at, you know, like sports drinks, Red Bull has 3 times the amount of caffeine that our Rebound has. Okay. it has 3 or 4 times the amount of sugar we have. But they have only one mineral in there in Red Bull that's called magnesium. We have 75 minerals. So which sports drink and energy drink is going to be more healthful and useful to you? A
Rebound.
sports drink that has 75 minerals in it and less sugar and caffeine compared to one that has only one mineral and a lot of caffeine and sugar.
Another thing I was wondering, does the boiling of the water, the hot coffee, does that rob your body of minerals? Just in a sense, distilled water?
Kaiser Center or Kaiser and Home Outpatient Services, Domingo Gina Hospice.
Distilled-
Well, anytime that you're urinating, sweating, you're peeing out and sweating out minerals, not just water. Okay. And so if you're drinking drinks with caffeine in them, like Red Bull and coffee and tea, okay, and you're not replacing them, you're losing minerals on a daily basis. Okay. And that's very, very good question, because everything you do, people say, oh yeah, I exercise, but I drink a lot of water to replace my sweat. Well, sorry, you're a loser. Okay. You're going to die just like these athletes. We just had 2 days ago now, another professional athlete, a professional pitcher on a professional baseball team here in America, died at 30 something. I think it was like 30 years old, of a heart attack. Had no history of a heart attack. He just dropped dead of a heart attack. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease. That's sudden death syndrome in a 30-year-old.
Well, Dr. Wallach, I don't want to say that they're a loser. They just have not been informed. And that's what this program is to do, is to help inform people in what they can do and need to do to be able to optimize their health. And when you're sweating, it's a slurry. It's not just water. It's a slurry of minerals that are coming out. So being intentional in making sure that you replenish your body of that slurry is what's going to keep those muscles strong, keep those joints hydrated and functioning properly without there being depletion, which is one of the questions that I have. I know, and the heart pumping, that's right, heart pumping. And that reminds me, Dr. Wallach, you were talking about colloidal silver earlier, and there's this, it's not really a myth, because if you drink quarts of colloidal silver, yes, you will turn blue like Dr. Wallach's shirt, but if you look at him, you'll see he is not blue by any means. With taking the couple dropperfuls several times a day, he still has great skin color, not great. And I mean, I look great compared to you, Dr. Wallach.
Well, yeah, you're a lot cuter than me.
Well, let's go to the next hand that is up, Dr. Wallach, and Ruth Ellen. Go ahead and join us here.
Hello, Dr. Wallach and everybody. Thank you for joining us. And there is a question in the chat from N. Dannenberg, and she is here. So I would like to know, would you like to ask your question yourself? You could nod and I'll see you. I will. Okay, perfect. Perfect. If you can unmute yourself, and I will add spotlight for you so that you can ask Dr. Wallach your question.
Hi,
Hi.
Dr. Wallach. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How can I help you?
I have a German Shepherd who is now a little over 7. Last December, she had her first hind leg operated on because she tore her CCL, excuse me. And we've gone through quite a bit with her. She ended up doing the second one as well. And she had a transposition of the fibula was the operation that they performed. And that was in December. Then in March, she ended up having to have a wire removed from the left hind leg because it had broken and her leg swelled up. And they put her on an antibiotic, and in a week that went away. And then a little bit later, she ended up with an infection in her back. And she was walking like a cat with her back all the way up. And our doctor put her on clindamycin. She's been on it for 6 months now, almost 6 months now. And
Does she walk like?
we're wondering when we could take her off, and if there's, and she's also on Orthodex. She's done quite well on that.
Mhm. Okay. Is she walking like a dog now?
I can't hear you.
Is she walking like a dog? Is she still humpback or is she?
I hear
I'm
you
not
just
hearing
fine,
you.
Doc.
All right, 1 second. Let me put these back on.
So can you hear us now?
Yeah, with my AirPods on. Okay.
So Dr. Wallach asked, is she walking normal like a dog now, or does she still have a humpback?
She's no, she's walking like a dog now. And she's running also.
Okay. What does she weigh? What does she weigh?
I'd say she's about 85 pounds at this point. She's a little
Okay.
overweight. Yeah.
Okay. So no table scraps.
No, she does.
No table scraps, no gluten, no breadcrumbs, nothing like that.
No.
If you're going to give her snacks, give her some dry dog food, crumbles or something like that for a snack.
Right.
At any rate, an 80-pound dog, I like them to have the canned dog food, like from Ralston Purina, and they actually have the dosage of the vitamins and minerals in there based on the weight. So you got to read the label and see which one you're getting. You want to get the appropriate weight label for the dog, okay? And you're going to get the vitamins and minerals correct. But then also for the Arthrodex, a good choice. It's 1 scoop for 20 pounds of body weight. So I'd go ahead and give the dog 4 scoops because it's had chronic problems.
That's what she gets.
Okay, 4 scoops of the Arthrodex. And let's see here. It wouldn't hurt also to throw in, with all that, I would also throw in the collagen peptides. I would just put 1 scoop of the high collagen peptides in with the canned dog food and churn that in there. Okay.
She actually gets raw chicken thighs along with what's the name of the Taste of the Wild bison and Dr. Marty she gets.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, when you give them chicken meat, you're altering the availability of vitamins and minerals. You're altering the amount of vitamins and minerals they're getting per pound of body weight and everything like that. So giving them those things, well, you think you're being nice to them. It's actually slowly killing them. Okay.
Chicken meat's no good.
Yeah. You're just giving them meat, whether it's red meat or chicken meat or fish or that kind of stuff, is not. Let me tell you, before 1900, when everybody had dogs in the house, the average lifespan of a pet dog in the house eating tail scraps and guts out of the squirrels they were shooting and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They'd live to be 4 or 5 years of age. When Ralston Purina came out with their first canned dog food in 1900, suddenly now the dogs are living to be 12 to 15 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
So you want a 15-year-old dog, or you want a crazy dog that dies at 4? You understand what I'm saying? And so you can't just put dirt from Texas in the car, which is like giving them chicken and chicken bones, or you're giving them dirt from Texas. Because when they would catch a bird or something to eat, they would eat the liver and the heart and the lungs and the bones and the ribs and the cartilage and all that kind of stuff. They weren't just eating the meat. Okay.
Yeah.
And so
well, she's getting the bones. It's she's getting the raw chicken with the bone.
Yeah, but still it's
still not enough.
It's still not enough because it's screwing up the relationships and of dosages and all that kind of stuff. And so you think you're being nice. It's like giving the kid candy. Well, we're getting plenty of energy, we're giving the kid candy every day with dinner. Well, no, don't do that.
So this raw food diet for dogs is not good.
That belongs to the science of crapola.
Crapola. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So the Ralston Purina canned dog food is what you're saying is a good thing to give her?
Yeah, that, and because they list on the label the amount of vitamins and minerals in there are for dogs that weigh this much and dogs that weigh this much and dogs that weigh this much. Okay, so you got to read the label. It's very, very clever of them to do that. That way they're not, giving overdoses, which wouldn't hurt the animal, but they're just wasting money. And so they did it based on body weight. And then you throw in the Arthrodex, and stay away from the bad stuff. And, you know, when the dog comes and sits and begs when you're eating dinner, what you want to do is just give them a little scoop of Arthrodex.
So no liver, dried liver or anything like that?
You're going to disrupt the balance of things now.
Okay. So that changes the balance. What about this? She's been on the clindamycin for 6 months. How do we get her off of that, or what?
Well, I'd have another veterinarian check the dog out at the other end of town that doesn't play golf with the ones who's had the dog on antibiotic for 6 months.
Well, we tried to take her off, and she started, going backwards.
Well, it was a chicken.
Okay. All right, I'll switch her up. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. So Dr. Wallach, is it possible to add killer biotic in with that? I know with my dogs, because we lived in an area that had some stuff going on, we would give them a killer biotic per day. So I just need a yes or no, because our time with you is up.
Yeah, well, killer biotic is good for everybody. And again, for a 70-pound dog, 1 killer biotic a day would be good, because it's fermented mushrooms, and it supports the immune system, as does the nutrients, okay, in the
The Arthrodex.
in the canned dog food, and also the Arthrodex. Yep.
And one thing I do want to mention, Dr. Wallach, when you're choosing a canned dog food, they still need to look for gluten-free, correct?
That is correct, because some dog foods, they will put cornmeal, they'll put wheat flour in there, they'll put oats in there. Oats are for animals that you're going to kill and eat in a couple of months. Okay, oats are not for you to be eating every breakfast for 30, 40, 50 years, because you won't live that long.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is planning on eating their pet pup. So
well, when times get hard, people do funny things.
Well, we're going to pray that it doesn't get that point, Dr. Wallach. But thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc. My name is Becca Dukes, and on behalf of myself and Dr. Joel Wallach and my co-hosts, Ruth Ellen Sanchez, Phyllis Anderson, and Marilyn Pizzera, we just thank you all for joining us and being empowered. I know on YouTube, we have tons of questions that are coming in, and I have questions coming in from emails. We will be getting to these questions, but if we don't get to your question as soon as you would like us to, please email us. You can go to dailywithdoc.com. There is a contact us. You can reach out to us that way, and one of our certified holistic health coaches will be getting back with you with a protocol that Dr. Wallach himself has been very instrumental in putting together for the conditions that you are experiencing. Ladies, thank you again for joining us here and being part of this amazing team. And until next time, that's tomorrow, folks. Bye for now.